the way this knockdown frame was installed is there's some clips on the back side, and you install it to the back side first, okay, on back here, before you install the sheetrock. There's different ways to do these. Sometimes they're knockdown frames, which they do it a different way, but then they also have other things. Here's this little screw right here, and there's another little screw like that over there, and that has another little thing on the inside that, so when you adjust everything, you then loosen or tighten this accordingly after you get this whole thing installed so that it fits up tight to the wood studs behind there, and that kind of goes in and out until you're tight. And that's kind of how you install a knockdown frame. But this is not a knockdown frame. It's one that they installed first, see? And so they did that, they got it off a little bit, didn't they? But everything still locks, and I'm really not too concerned about it. I mean, there's not much I can do about it at this point. There's not anything I really need to do. It's not like an office somewhere, and it's going to be fine. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Okay. I think I looked in this one. This one seems to be fine. Everything's closed fine. And I checked it a little bit more. I don't just check this just a little bit. I do it a little bit in detail. I've already kind of looked at these doors. And see, these doors, they close up in that little, see, it's a little pocket there. It's like a strike plate, but then it's indented. And then on the top of these doors, there's a deal that's screwed down, and it's a little round deal that's on a spring, and it gets mortised in and screwed down. I'll show you when I get my ladder or something later, but that is on a spring, so when you close the door, it fits into that pocket and then pops up, and that's what holds this door. And see, this one's kind of loose up there. It's almost like the spring thing is not really working too much. It might be loose. The spring might have sprung per se. I could take that out, take it to the hardware store, get one that has a tighter spring in there. This one's like 17 years old now, and it's not really, I mean, it's holding, but then I go and push this door and see it hits up there. It hits the side, and so the edge of that door is hitting, and you can kind of see up there where it's kind of taking the paint off a little bit. It's still white, but it's the undercoating. You can kind of see that's where it's been rubbing. It's been rubbing on the side of this door. So see, you can see that same type of thing going on up there at that door. See up there? That's because both those doors are hitting. It's not a whole lot, but when they repaint everything, that's going to be hitting. So I want that fixed. And I look down here, see how tight the gap is? You get this door sagging any little bit more, it's going to be worse up there, and it's going to be harder to push. So see, I look on here, the gap looks fine down here. That tells me that these doors are sagging. So I'm going to have to look at that and make a determination. Do I lift this door up on the left a little bit to the left, take this one, go up to the right, or just take the one to the right, or just the door to the left? And I'll have to make that determination once I get up there to do that. That's going to be on another video. Lucky for you, if you want to keep watching my videos, you can see how I'm going to fix these doors. And I'll fix them. No doubt about that. I'll get these doors fixed before the painters get here, and you'll see exactly what I do in order to fix those doors. Okay, bathroom. Bathroom. I saw earlier that this whole edge is almost rubbing. It's not rubbing yet, but it's actually pretty close to rubbing, and I can see that right there too, where this latch is hitting the strike plate. See, that's what you're hearing. It's not the wood hitting anywhere, but it's so close. If this door sagged anymore, it's going to hit this edge, and then I'm going to have a paint edge problem where it's going to start marking up this door. It could start marking up the edge of this door's jamb. Okay, so I'm going to look at this and make the determination. Now I'm going to have to fix this. And I look over here on this side, and I've got enough gap to work with over there. See how much of a gap I have on the edge of this, where that hinge is? And I look down here, see I got plenty of gap to work with. So my idea is I'm gonna have to suck this door over to the right, the entire door over to the right. And that'll create more gap on the left. Usually you only have a gap, you only have a tight gap up at the top because usually the door is sagging and it's starting to rub. Usually you're not going to have the bottom of the door rub and not the top. It's usually going to be the opposite. Okay, the door is usually always going to be sagging to the right. This door is not sagging. It's fine vertically, straight up and down. It's fine. The gap looks pretty good almost all the way. If anything, there's a slight gap down here, which tells me I'm going to have to suck this over a little bit more at the top over here, at the top, but I also want to get it all the way down here to create a bigger gap all the way along this edge, okay? And I'm going to be able to do that, okay? And that will fix that door. What else? I think there was something else. Oh, this door here was rubbing. This is just a little storage area where the heating and air conditioner heating system is, and where the water heater is. And this door, hollow core door, I would have made a solid one here, but they didn't. And it's rubbing up there, and I already made the determination, if you were watching my other video, this hinge is loose. See? And I think that's what's causing everything. And see, it's rubbing up at the top. That's what that, hear that? That's rubbing. And it's because this hinge, see that hinge is away from the door right there. There's only one screw left in it, it's halfway out. Top and bottom screws are missing. It's not even sucked in over all the way. So I'm gonna have to do some fixing to that and see if I can't fix that, which I can. No, I can. I looked at this door already, and it looks nice and good. I don't think I have to do anything with that one. And I've got a couple more doors in here. Jeez. This actually looked pretty good. If anything, see this whole side of the vertical jamb, they didn't put a straight edge on this when they installed it, because look at the bottom. It's tight, it's kind of tight here, then the gap gets bigger there. Look how big this gap is here to here, and then see how it's a nice gap from about here to there. That's because either this door jamb is pooched out there, or this area between here and here is out too far. It should have been shimmed over further. But then look up at the top. I mean, look at that. From that gap up, look at that. Not much I can do about that. I could suck that over just a little bit, because see, it's getting kind of snug there. I could push it a little bit, but the more I push it that way, the higher this is going to raise. I got to see how much of a gap I got up there. And see, I can only push it over to the left enough to where it doesn't rub the top over there. So that top edge looks almost pretty straight, which tells me, again, whoever installed this door, he was not a professional who installed the door. Maybe it was the apprentice. Somebody helped him, or he helped somebody else who knew what they were doing upstairs, and he said, okay, hey, we got 3 more doors down here, 2 or 3 more doors downstairs. Can you take care of those? I'm going to make the assumption you can take care of those. I've trained you on that. I've taken you the house before this one and this one. You've got to suck it up and start learning how to do this on your own. The guy said, okay, yeah. And there was his handiwork. This door right here was not done by a professional door installer, I'll tell you that. Okay, look at this one. This one, same guy installed this. You see where the gap is there, and a big old huge gap up there? But then over here, it doesn't look like the door is sagging at all, does it? And up there at the top, I can't really move that. Again, I can't really move that over too much before the top edge of the left-hand side of the door is going to hit the door header. See? So again, somebody wasn't paying attention. It wasn't on there. It wasn't on my watch, so I couldn't really do anything about it, could I? But it's a closet. It's not something that's going to be used every single day. A little bit loose there, and I know that's all because all I have to do is adjust this strike plate. The strike plate has never been adjusted. That edge of the lip is straight. They never did anything. They just put that on there. The same guy who installed the door is probably the same guy who installed that handle, and he didn't do the extra mile to adjust this strike plate, did he? We can put a little screwdriver in there and we can kind of pull that out just at an angle by about 1/16 of an inch, maybe less than 1/8. And that'll take up that slop and fix that. Okay? Now here's something else. Lots of strike plates don't have that little notch right there on the side like that one. See where you can put your screwdriver? That's what that's for. And if you do it with a screwdriver, if you pry it out too far, you don't want this thing to break because it's only attached from there up and from there down. So you can only do that so much. You can't go back and forth. Oh, I did it too much. Now I tap it back with a screwdriver. Oh, went too far. Now come back. Pretty soon you're going to break that off. That's what happened upstairs. Okay. So some of them don't have that little notch. Maybe it's just a tab that fits in there and you're like, well, Joe, how am I supposed to fix that? Well, then you got to unscrew your strike plate. You have to take a pair of pliers, put that in your hands, bend that a little bit where you think. Then you need to reattach this. Then you need to close the door and see if you've got it adjusted properly. And chances are, a lot of times you might be able to get that a little bit better, but you still have a little bit. And you think, I can do a little bit better. And because you're like Joe, you're going to then unscrew this again and do it again and pop it out just a little bit more. Or if it's closing too hard, you can push it in, pry it in a little bit. And I would suggest when you pry it in, you take it off again, use your pliers and do the same thing, just back it off. Don't think you can just put I'll just take a flat head screwdriver, put it in there and kind of tap on that. You do that, then you mark up this edge, because I've done it many a time. Not many, a few times more than I'd like to think. Maybe 4 or 5 in my entire life of doing that. You do it once and you're like, okay, I know I shouldn't do that and I won't do that ever again. And so you take it back off, bend it again, do whatever you have to do, screw it back. And incidentally, when I screw those back in, I like to do them by hand. I don't like to use the electric screwdriver, electric drill, because the battery operated drill, because then you can't tell when those screws are tight. Then sometimes you over tighten those and they start spinning in there. Now your strike plate can get loose later on, or it can't be tightened up if you need to adjust it. Let's say in or out. Okay. So there you go. That's the types of things I've got to do and take care of before the painter comes here. So if that's something you want to watch, check out my next video or somewhere close to where you found this video, and they'll be on the YouTube channel. Don't worry. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.